Welcome back to Bay Area Panthers Weekly. I am Mike Pulaski, once again your host, and we talked offense before. We got Trayvon Alexander in here. We got Coach Keefe in here, so we're going to bounce back to the defensive side of the ball. Again, this week the Panthers had a great win down in San Antonio, 55-26 over the Gunslingers, avenging their first loss of the season and coming out looking great. The first half was close, but then the defense started getting interceptions, started making plays, turning it over to the offense, and the offense was able to play complementary football. It's really good. A huge part of that, defensively speaking, is my next guest, Franky West Jr. And Franky, welcome to Bay Area Panthers Weekly. Good to have you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you have come on late for the Panthers here. And what people don't understand about the professional game is it's literally like inches between guys starting, guys not starting, making a team, not making a team, like being in the right league, the whole 9 yards. And you have to do it. You have to show up every single day, and you have to be exceptional in everything you do. One of the things that I've noticed about you is the effort that you put into special teams play. Like you make it a point of pride on special teams, and you show up every single game. Talk to me about that mentality, about that mindset going into games.
Absolutely. When I step on the field, I'm well aware that each snap could be my last, so I want to give it my everything. And when I first got into playing football, I had a dad who kind of helped me and let me know, hey, you want to be special? They call it special teams for a reason. So whether I'm able to run fast on kickoff or be able to block someone to open up a lane for some guys to score, that's what I'm going to do to help the team win.
Awesome. And you talked about your dad. Let's talk about that. So you're a heritage guy. You're not a first-generation guy. You're a second-generation guy in the indoor game.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your dad. Tell me about him and tell me about that legacy.
Yeah, so my dad, he graduated from Illinois State, which is where I also went to play ball. And once he left, he spent some time with the Arizona Cardinals and then went to Canada to play for the Hamilton Tiger Cats for a couple of years. And then one of his former teammates at Illinois State said, hey, you'll love this indoor stuff. And my dad was like, I guess we'll see. So he gave it a try with the Peoria Pirates, and he just said, I just loved it. He's I love the pace of the game. I loved how invested the fans get. And he was like, I could play here for years. So he was invested from then. So I think he played for about 3 or 4 years. And then we got a team in our hometown called the Bloomington Extreme, which he ended up coaching for about 8 years. And I was able to be a water boy for a lot of those years. So I was able to kind of grow with the game with him, and I would be able to go to practices and watch all the mechanics that the DBs were able to work with, and as well as further my game, pick up stuff from different players just to see if I can add it to my arsenal.
Boy, that is awesome for a kid to be able to go out and be around a professional team. It just makes all the difference in the world. Coaches' kids obviously become really, really good football players because they're around the game all the time. How much do you think that helped your game?
Absolutely. I think that helped out tremendously. You can't escape it. I love the game. I am the game. That's something that has gotten me so many different things, got me so many different joys. They got me to go to college. So I couldn't thank the game for giving me what I was been able to have. And it's just, I've some of my best relationships. It was like I said, my roommate was my high school cornerback opposite of me in high school. And we were able to grow together. We were able to both go to the same football camps, get the same offers, and go to college. He ended up getting All-American. I ended up being getting All-American. Now we're here doing this together. And this is just a dream come true.
That's pretty awesome. Was there any extra pressure since your dad was a coach?
No. If anything, it's more pressure for him because he knows I can be better.
Now, did you listen? So my son, he played defensive line. So when I went to coach him in high school, I was trying to coach him, and he's like, oh, what do you know? You played quarterback. I'm like, son, listen, I have literally forgotten more about defensive line play than the entire staff here in high school. Like, I've seen so much of this, right? So did you listen? Were you a good kid? Did you listen to dad?
Oh yeah, well my thing was I started off as a wide receiver, so he was coaching me as, okay, if I was guarding you, this is what I would do. So then when I finally made the switch, I want to say like my sophomore year to DB, everything just kind of kept and registered in my head that, okay, this is what receivers like to do. This is what they want to do. This is how they don't want to be touched. This is when they do want to kind of get you involved so they can do kind of a stock and release. So I would say I listened a lot, and if I didn't listen, he would make it well aware that I didn't.
Yeah, I love that. So I think playing safety for me, I played safety in high school. I was actually all state as a safety. And I think playing safety taught me so much about what I needed to know to play quarterback. It's such a different aspect. And if you don't understand it, I think you lose out on the position. So playing both sides is definitely a skill that helps. Talk to me about your journey to getting here with the Panthers.
Yeah, so when I finished my last college season in 2023, obviously I had aspirations to go NFL, and I felt I had the traits to be an NFL corner, and I was
The
getting,
goods, as they
yeah,
say.
I felt like I had the goods, and I
Uh,
was getting the attention, and it was just the way things fell through, and I couldn't be more blessed for the situation I'm in. And Keefe was able to hit me up and said, "Hey, I saw your tape. I feel like I can get you to the next level, and you can come in here and you can thrive." He said, "You just have to put in the work." And I said, "Coach," I was like, I start off as a walk-on. Work is what I know." Um, so as soon as he called me and I was able to listen, I was like, "Hey, Coach, you don't have to recruit anymore. I'm coming. I'm coming." As I send that contract over. So when he was able to do that, he was able to keep in touch with me, and that was one big thing for me. It was where coaches can kind of hit you up, and then they'll kind of just fall off for a while, and then they'll be like, "Oh, hey, like, what's up?" No, that's not what Keith is. He's like, he keeps on making sure you're not just good as a player, but as good as a person. He wants to see how you're doing, if you got anything going on, and he really just cares for not just players, but just people in general.
to a man, everybody on the team has said the same thing about Coach Keefe.
Yeah.
And from my experience, having talked to him, having met him, I actually met him when I did some games for NBC for the Arena League way back when. And so having met him, he's a really high character guy, high energy guy too,
Oh yeah.
super high energy guy, but high character. Talk about team culture and how important that is here.
Well, that's like I said, I've been able to be a part of Arena League, so I'm well aware of 1 year contracts, and I've been in locker rooms as a kid where I'm like, okay, this team doesn't really seem as close or
Yeah.
anything. But when I came here, my first day, I was like, obviously I had a familiar face with Landry, but you could see like the camaraderie between the players already, which was unaware for me because I'm thinking, oh, he's bringing all these different guys from different spaces. Now he's bringing back guys that have been a part of the system, people that have been a part of the culture. The stars, the guys that haven't really been able to show what they can do yet, and they all gelled so quickly. And naturally, as a rookie, you're just like, okay, I just want to kind of find my way, and how do I make this work? But they just allow you to be you. My first day in the locker room, I had people that were all IFL asking me my name, asking where I'm from, which that that's not always the case. You get some guys that have heavy egos who don't really care about you or care about where you come from, and they can ultimately split a team, and that's not what this team is.
Right. And yeah, and you see everybody I've talked to, I've really become invested in this team just from everybody I've talked to. I really, really like everybody who I've been able to talk to before games on the shows, like, yourself included. Everybody just good nature, good people, good stories. And it's always fun to be able to support a team like that. So when you're doing the broadcasts, I've had other teams where I did not like them as much, but this team I definitely like. So good group of dudes here.
Oh yes, sir.
Awesome. So most guys, when they come into the indoor game from the outdoor game, they have a lot to learn in terms of angles, walls, all that, the exposure that you haven't seen it. You were around it as a kid. How much different was that for you?
It's always still kind of a learning curve because initially I was just running on it after games, just having fun with playing with friends. But when you're actually in it and when the whistles are blown, it's different. But a lot of the time I was able to spend time with my dad on learning alignments. Okay, why did this guy stand over here, this close to the wall? Why this guy stands so far away from the wall? What are they trying to work? What are they trying to open up? All these different types of things that all these different schemes that could go into a route, just like outdoor ball. He as a kid, he also told me he's like that wall doesn't give. He was like the wall is undefeated, so you have to have some spatial awareness about where you're running into, and as well as use it to your advantage as a DB. Sometimes you can jump stuff that you couldn't probably jump in an outdoor game because you have a big wall there. But ultimately, it's definitely a learning curve. It's definitely a learning curve, and you start to figure it out the more you're able to kind of get rep, which is crucial in this league.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So what are your aspirations from this league? What would you like to do out of this league?
Well, when I was a kid, the goals were, okay, I want to be, the best to ever be. That I want to be the best guy. But the more went about it, I've given a lot of credit to the work that I put in, and I know with the amount of preparation I put in, the results will follow. So at the end of the day, I just want to make sure I'm someone that a team can rely on, someone that a team can depend on. And I know that if that's the case, then everything else is going to take care of itself, and my legacy will be left, whether, I'm, maybe the best DB, or if, hey, I'm the best team player that I can be. That's ultimately my goal. Is I just want to be known as, a good person, a good teammate, and always be known as a high character guy.
That's absolutely awesome. You guys just hit midseason, right? So now 6-2, in good position. Is there talk about the playoff run coming up?
Obviously everybody thinks about playoffs, and it's why we play the game, but I feel like this team does a great job in terms of just taking it one game at a time. That's our biggest thing, where Coach Keefe is, it's 1-0 every week. We can worry about all the other teams when it comes to it, but we're worried about this week. It's like just like this bye week. There was no talk about really the other teams that are coming up. We know who we play after this bye week, but this is, time to, kind of relax, get our feet back underneath us, and take care of what needs to get taken care of, so we can go out and play a great second half. It was like playoffs. That's something that we all want to be a part of, and we're gonna do our best to do what we can to get there. But at this time, it's just take it one game at a time to get to where we need to go.
Well, that is awesome. I appreciate you coming on during your bye week. I know you guys have it off, so you making the time to come on, I appreciate that, man. I wish you the best of luck. I'm enjoying watching you play. Got a touchdown on special teams, making a bunch of plays on defense. And so it's just really fun watching you play this year. So don't forget, they're off. Panthers are off this coming up weekend. But June 7th, they are back at the SAP Center versus the Tulsa Oilers. Then at the Vegas Nighthawks versus the Arizona Rattlers, back home, defending champions. So it's Sluggers Row coming up. That's it for this week's edition of Bay Area Panthers Weekly. Special thanks, Coach Rob Keefe. Always great having him on. Trayvon Alexander, and, of course, Franky West Jr. Always great. Appreciate you guys listening. You can catch us June 7th right here on KMBR 1050. Game starts at 6:05. Our pregame starts at 5:05. And that'll do it for this week. I appreciate you listening. Have a good night.